Hi, and welcome back. This is our third video with a focus on acupuncture. What is acupuncture? This is another large topic, and we could sit around and talk about this question for quite some time. Acupuncture has been used to balance and harmonize the forces of our lives for thousands of years, or said in another way, for more than 130 generations. There is so much experiential information, so many case studies, and so many providers from all over the world adding their voice into this great pool of information that answering this seemingly simple question in 2 to 3 minutes seems somewhat impossible. For today, we might focus on some of the basic questions that are likely circulating in your mind if you haven't had acupuncture before and are considering trying it out in your health and wellness journey. Technically, acupuncture can be defined as the insertion of thin, filiform needles into the physical body. The word filiform means solid and is used in the definition of acupuncture to distinguish the needles used from other types of needles which are designed to be hollow. Hollow needles, like hypodermic needles, are typically employed to move fluids in solution into or out of the physical body. These types of needles, hollow needles, are not typically used in the practice of acupuncture. Acupuncture needles come in different lengths and thickness to allow for greater influence and interaction with different aspects of the nervous system and the various tissues of the physical body. The depth of insertion and the gauge or the thickness of the needle is dependent on several factors, perhaps the most influential of which include the condition being treated, the area of the body being needled, the constitution of the client receiving treatment, and the style of acupuncture being employed. There are at least 5 basic questions that come up when seeking information about acupuncture, and these may be listed as follows. Does acupuncture hurt? Is often the most common. Are the needles sterile? What happens to the needles after they're used? How many needles will be used in my treatment? And how many treatments will be required to resolve my condition? So let's go over these questions. The first question, does acupuncture hurt? And the answer is no. Acupuncture doesn't hurt, but this isn't the whole story. Acupuncture is a sensory experience. This is to say that part of its effect or the mechanic behind its therapeutic benefit is in its ability to stimulate the sensory aspect of the nervous system into new patterns of interaction. It is common to feel the needles upon insertion, and it's also common to feel or have a sensation with any follow-up manipulation to the needles after they've been inserted. The sensations typically experienced are often stated as tight or dull, achy, radiating, pulsing, hot, electric, vibrating. And these sensations, while common to acupuncture treatment and definitely tangible while having treatment, are not uncomfortable or painful. There is periodically a slight pinch or pokey sensation upon initial insertion, but these sensations are minimal and pass after a second or two. It's important to understand that acupuncture need not hurt, but that some sensation may be present and actively precipitated during treatment to potentiate the impact and desired effect on the central nervous system and the various neurological networks related to the condition being treated. In regard to the second question and the third, sterilization and what happens to the needles after they've been used, this is a simple. All needles at this time, all acupuncture needles at this time come pre-sealed and pre-sterilized and are single use only and disposed of immediately after use. In regard to the final 2 questions, how many needles will be used and how many treatments will be required, this is naturally something that is different in every case with every person. And the number of needles used in treatment varies on the condition being treated, the constitution of the client at the time of treatment, and the style being employed by the provider. On average in my practice and in my treatment at this time, I commonly use, say, 15 needles per treatment, but may use as many as 30 depending on what we're doing and the condition we're working on. In the treatment of children, this number may be as low as 1 needle per treatment. Needle retention, which is the length of time the needles are left in the body, is also a related topic to this. And in the treatment of children under the age of 8, I rarely retain the needles for any length of time and remove them immediately after insertion. For adults, needles will be retained in the body after insertion anywhere from 20 to 50 minutes, and a typical treatment lasts from 45 to 60 minutes for most adults. The number of treatments needed to resolve a condition, resolution being defined as a complete remediation of a problem that requires no further support, is largely dependent on the client's overall fitness at the time of treatment and the chronicity of the condition. What I mean by this is that a body that is relatively fit with an acute condition will often respond very quickly to treatment and only need a visit or two to bring the system back into balance. A body that lacks basic fitness with a very chronic issue will likely need a series of treatments lasting months or years before balance can be fully restored. In conclusion, in gathering my clinical experience over the past 25 years or so, I've seen the beneficial effects of acupuncture on a huge variety of disordered states and disease. Acupuncture can be used to resolve many different health conditions, and it can serve as a powerful complement with other therapies and modalities. If you've been struggling with a difficult issue and haven't found a good resource in getting to the roots of the problem, come in and see us. It's very likely that we can help, and we specialize in difficult, hard-to-treat issues that haven't found a point of clarity. Keep in mind that the Eastern approach is not just about the remediation of a symptom, but is centered and focused on the causal factors behind those symptoms. And in treating those causes, the symptoms get resolved. Thanks. Bye for now.